Welcome everyone, this is Pilot Needles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Harry Adwin.
Hi.
And Sanswinda.
Hello.
Hello there. Let's go and check in on the news for this week, and we'll begin with The Beacon. LOTRO Beacon issue number 107, where it looks like they have taken a trip back to the globe at the Frostbluff Theater in Frostbluff.
Yeah, well, Yule Festival was on again. Winter was coming. Winter came.
Yes, a little
Winter,
bit
for all intents and purposes, I think is still on, isn't it? It's still on until the update.
It is.
Winter is back.
It's on for today, of course, tomorrow, and then at 3 a.m. on Monday, it shuts off. For our community spotlight, you could join Acorn Oakley for the April Oaks featuring Harfang on April 27th in Laurelin. And LOTRO Vogue is a cosmetic blog that features many different styles. And where are they featuring this week?
Lucienne Tenuviel, which is a elven outfit with a dress.
I would hope that it's an elven
dresses
outfit.
are easy.
Yeah, so this has a circlet, shoulders. Let's see. Yeah, the chest piece is a dress, so that no hands, no legs, no feet. Yes. And a cloak.
Well, this is actually one of the few dresses that doesn't include shoes. Because most of them do. Most of them actually have shoes included. You can't see that her feet are bare, but her feet are bare.
I guess that sort of fits Tenuviel sometimes. Then let's head into the Grand Order of the Lost Matham. Will be hosting a Buckland Pirate. Pirate? Oh,
Pirate.
Okay, because it's spelled pirate in that.
Pirate.
Oh,
pirate.
Okay.
I can't
pirate.
Explain that pun to you.
Yeah, and it took me a while to see that pun there. Yes, a pirate treasure hunt on April 28th, and you could click on the link to find out more. And Gleaming Thread also has a new outfit. The Eyes of Underharrow,
which features a Mordor chest piece that we've seen in somebody else's outfit recently. This outfit actually, unfortunately, has a problem because the shoulders clip weirdly, and it's extremely noticeable.
Ah. All right, so that's the. I'm trying to think where.
You're trying to think what?
I'm trying to. I guess because it doesn't hit me as much as it hits you, I guess.
Oh, they clip right at the shoulders.
Oh, there I see.
Yeah,
yes.
You can actually see it in all of the photos, but it's very noticeable in the one where they actually close up on the shoulders.
Yeah, all right. I see it now. Then let's head next into our Kin Hall. The Way of the Tortoise is a slow leveling progression. Slowtro Kin on Ithil. Tortoises like to take things slow. By doing so, we can complete more content at the appropriate level. We have members who are altaholics, completionists, and or limited time play. Our level cap allows these playstyles to go together, reducing the fear of being left behind. Typically, we raise the cap every 2 to 3 levels every 2 weeks, but when it matches the new major dungeon, we will remain capped for at least 4 weeks. We expect to raise to 50 on August 2nd, 2019. The Stone of Tortoise is used to disable experience gain, contact Mordred, or any officer in game, and you can also click to read their forum post. And that is on Ithel. Now for our weekly comment. What is the most ideal spring vacation spot in Middle-earth?
Winterhome.
No.
No,
No.
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 Well, maybe this week.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too sure Winterhome is where I would want to go during the springtime. I want to get away from winter, not embrace it.
Fair.
Which means I'm trying to think if Ithilien would be a nice place to go during the spring.
Ithilien actually probably is, because you've got all the cherry blossoms and trees and flowers and stuff. Of course, you got all the adventures running through picking all the flowers.
Yeah, that's why I thought you might not completely
Western
like it.
Gondor actually is very lovely in the spring. Western Gondor remains one of my favorite places in the game, actually.
Now, it does help that Gondor is one of the few places where we visit it during the spring. It's either it's at that cusp point where you're turning into spring, right when you're down in that area.
It does help.
And after going through all the other regions during the winter time.
Well, I mean, Rohan is plains, so you can't really tell what season it is, but there's so much else going on in Rohan. I mean, you've got treachery and backstabbing and all of the war and devastation, and then you go through the paths of the dead into Gondor, which, by the way, I would love for them to open up some other way into Gondor, but you go through Paths of the Dead into Gondor, and it's just like it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it's a nice breath of fresh air when you get there. Too bad when you halfway through Gondor, you run into that crazy
The Dawnless Day,
Day, but
which literally comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, there is that. I would presume you mean from the point of view of the game and how it pops up, because lore-wise, of course, it comes out of Mountain Doom.
Well, yes, lore-wise, it comes out of Doom, but in the game, it comes out of nowhere, because you can't even see it on the horizon, and then one step from the next, you're in it.
Boom! Yeah, there is that. Always the tricky stuff in trying to implement these things.
But honestly, even if it wasn't Dawnless Day in those areas that are currently in Dawnless Day in the game, I still think Western Gondor is kind of the best place to go. You go to Belfalis, you go to Dol Amroth for a seaside jaunt. Stand in the Harper's Court and look over the bay.
Ooh. Hey, as you go into I know you don't like the area, but the Belfalis housing neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's
all the stately bank vaults.
Yeah, all the stately bank vaults, right. Sans, did you have a favorite place?
A favorite place to go?
Yeah, favorite place to go for spring vacation.
You mean besides Winterhome, like a serious favorite place?
Yeah.
Yeah, just in case you were being tongue-in-cheek and...
It's a good question. For spring vacation, I think I'd want to go to Rohan. Maybe like near Aldburg. Because, well, yeah. I mean, not in wartime, obviously. But just see everything start to turn green. And I bet there's little flowers in the grass. And I think it'd be really pretty. And horse riding and stuff. Like, you know, war steeds and galloping races. And it should be fun.
As long as you don't run into any Ubruks while you're doing it, right?
Well, I said in time of peace.
True.
So hopefully there wouldn't be any Uruks within running into distance during that time. If there were, it might not be the most ideal spot.
Tired Dwarf in the chat says, come and see the beautiful springtime flowers in southern Mirkwood. Encounter strange and amazing creatures. Plan your trip today.
Is southern Mirkwood?
Southern Mirkwood.
I'm not too sure I want to go there in the springtime.
Oh, after Dol Guldur's gone, it's probably calmed down quite a bit.
All right, I guess you've got a point with that.
We may be going back.
Well, we'll probably be passing by there when we visit Roscabel.
That's right, because Roscabel is located in southern Mirkwood, according to Tolkien's map.
So long as Roscabel is not harboring a lot of runaway spiders, I'm okay with this.
No, but it is harboring a brown wizard.
That's okay.
Okay.
No, all the spiders are in Minas Morgul.
I still don't want anything to do with them. Wherever they are, they can stay there. Let's just burn them in.
What if we visit Roscabel as the spiders are passing through from northern Mirkwood too?
Let's not. What if we don't? I mean, I guess we could just burn it down, but I don't think that'd be very nice, so...
I don't think the elves would like it if you burnt down Mirkwood.
I don't think Radagast would be very happy either.
Probably not. You know, and Radagast is not the cool, absent-minded, funny dude that you see in the Hobbit movies. Lotro's Radagast is almost as much of a jerk as Gandalf is. I mean, remember,
maybe burning it's not the worst thing ever.
Maid. He sends you into the Red Maid and then down into Nenharn or whatever that's called, and then is very surprised when you come back alive.
That is true. Maybe burning it down's not the big... that might not be a problem. If he gets rid of the spiders.
I thought you said maybe the bears will get upset though. Oh, you don't care.
Well, that might be a little bit more of a problem because I hear they make really good honey cakes.
Ah. Let's head into the fan site news then. You could watch Epic Shenanigery with Tesla the Panda, and watch Flights of Fancy with The Wayward Plane. Watch Lore and Laughter with Middle-earth Maiden. And Dragons of Winter final episode in LOTRO, Legacy of the Necromancer, Part 32 with Andane. And watch...
Yeah, he's still behind.
He's still
behind.
You mean, despite the name Dragons of Winter final episode, that doesn't mean that he's finishing up Eric Mithrin?
No, that was finishing up Rust and Rhyme, I'm pretty sure.
Ah, okay.
He hasn't actually made it into the new stuff yet. Slacker.
Yeah. The road goes ever on with the Gravity 42. Winnie's Adventures in Middle-earth, and watch now with more dwarves with the Dwara Scholar. And for our screenshot of the week, it's a...
Yeah, speaking of Nenharn, that's what this ruin is.
Alright, yeah, it does look...
And I think This was the summer horse? Last year's summer horse?
I must admit I don't recognize too many horses by their back ends. But the flowers do indicate that it's either
obviously you don't pay attention
horse.
to your own horse enough, Pine Leaf. That's the best way for me to figure out which horses are which is the back end. But I haven't been getting the festival horses, so I'm not like 100% sure. But I actually think this is last year's summer horse.
And the screenshot was taken by, Annenreth, who posted this shot. Now, two little bit of announcements. The first thing is that next week there will be an update in the game to hopefully get the burglars in a nice working order, and also to prepare for the anniversary event, because they are hoping to have the anniversary event have it open on April 23rd, most likely when the worlds open up from the patch. So let's see what's on sale this week. Terry, what's on sale?
Oh, let's see. 20% off now through April 25th. The Gift of the Valor, Blessing of the Valor, and it's not listed here, but Aria of the Valor is also on sale. I checked.
It is?
It is. Ooh. You don't need any more Aria's characters. Third Age Item Trove, the Legacy Scroll Box, and wasn't there something else? I thought. No, that's it.
Did I copy it wrong?
Nope, that's it. They have for a limited time, the 10 steel key bundle is available in the LOTRO store. I didn't check and see how much it is because I really don't care because I'm not opening boxes. And the weekly coupon gets you Tome of Compressed Experience with coupon code Compressed XP now through April 25th. What is this? I haven't got it yet.
It gives you, I think it's for about 90 minutes plus 25% XP with plus 10% on legendary items. Something like that.
Interesting.
Let's now head into our site news, where we have installment number 4 of Where in Middle-earth is Emeraldina?
Where she reveals where she was last week. And I actually was completely stumped last week. Somebody in the comments guessed it, at which point I realized where it was. But until I read the comment saying where it was, I had no idea.
I'm really proud of myself for that, because she's like, port me someplace cool. So I did, and I was like, you can't take it near the waterfall, though. Like, if you're trying to stop Terry, you can't take it near the waterfall.
That would have been a dead giveaway.
So...
Yeah, she certainly is one who avoids doing dead giveaways.
She's been having so much fun finding new places, too.
Well, and part of it is I really don't know Hennessanoon that well, because you remember how irritated I was going through there because of the whole flower picking debacle.
That's true. She was, like, if there was sound with the pictures, though, you could have totally heard the waterfall because she was still in that same room that I ported her into.
Well, there is that. Then let's head into our new player question. And Sans, what's the question this week?
So, I probably asked this at some point, but I found the question again and was like, I wonder. So, can you see when a character was created? If so, how? Also, is there a way to check how much time you've spent in-game?
Well, I know that last question you can type /played and it will tell you how much time you spent in-game on that particular character. I don't know if there's a way to track when the character was created.
I certainly don't know how to do that.
So that would be like a per character way to track time in game, but we can't necessarily see when the character was created or total time played. So, like, if somebody had, say, like, 36 alts on a server, you could go through and check for each of them and add it all up.
And add it all up, yeah. Because Aerother did it once.
I'm not
and
sure
then I
I
did
want
mine
to
and
know.
I beat him. I have a lot of time invested in game, and that was just for the primary server at the time. But yeah, I have a lot of time invested in this game. And you've been playing for 7 years.
I have not, but I'm curious.
I'm sure Pine Leaf has us all beat.
What, for how much time in game?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, since I've been playing it a little bit longer.
A little bit.
Well, if anybody in chat knows that there's a way to see when you created a character, I'd love to find out, but there might not be one, so. Well, thank you guys.
Alright. Unfortunately, we couldn't answer your question.
That's okay. That would help explain why it was still a question.
Because none of us knew the answer. Then let's into our weekend LOTRO. And Terry Adwin, what were you up to?
Well, Axley and Friends started their Assembly of the Grey Company. That's
Great
always
company. Some assembly required.
I know, right? You can't just go and get these guys, and you can't just and you can't just go and get these guys because you can't just tell them, "Hey, come on, we gotta go," and go on to the next guy. No, you have to go do errands for them before they can leave. Why can't they do their own errands? I don't know, but
they're Rangers.
No, they're Rangers. They're helpless and they require. We're starting on the epic quest to babysit Rangers. Yay!
Woohoo! Yes.
But first, we have to get them all together, which means you have to finish up all of the business that they have left to do before they can actually go do what they're supposed to be doing, which is going to go help their boss. So we did Radnir, right? That's the one in the troll shows is Radnir. We did Radnir. We did Candice. We did Saradan. We did Halros. We went and got Halbarad out of the cave that he was in. That was fun. Actually, I think that's the shortest time I've ever spent in that cave.
That was pretty good.
Because there were 3 of us, and we were over-leveled for it, so the names were, like, light blue. And
yeah.
I took Axley in Yellow Line, and I went around and I gathered up, like, 6 people at a time and shing-shinged them all to death as Pineleaf was pew-pewing them down.
And I was hitting them over the head with my axes.
I had just done it on Laurel and Terry, like, 2 weeks prior, so I knew the route through the cave, so we didn't get lost, we didn't get turned around, we were boom, 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 and done. And then we decided to stop because the next thing on the list is Calenglad, and the Calenglad instance I still really want an apology for. Because I can stand by cleaning up a Numinous. It's what happens after that we deserve an apology for. Because just standing there in the awkward that is Gwyndeath telling him he's a hamster. We are owed an apology for that. Just, dude, do your relationship woes on your own time. We're on the clock here.
Maybe someday Gwyndeath will apologize to us for his indiscreetness.
I'm so glad. She needs to turn to us and like apologize for him hauling us into this nonsense. So it actually hasn't actually done it yet. It's on my homework list. I'll probably log in and do it later. And then on Laurelin, Terry Adwin experienced the events of the Fords of Eisen. Tissues were required again. Theoden Theodrin, and then you've got Sinstan, and it's so sad. And I cry every time. And then I made it to the Great River, and I had been holding off on getting the War Steed until the epic story. But when you're in the Great River, you're right there. You're across the river from Rohan. So I crossed the river to Rohan, and I got the War Steed.
Yay, War Steed!
Then I went back to Stangard and War Steeded around in Stangard so I could continue Volume 3. And Nona did the thing, and we ended up in Lothlorien. and dealt with the snooty elves. And I'm up to where the first Frodo session play in Galadriel's garden, where you look in the mirror and you do the scene at Hennethanoon. Not Hennethanoon, the seats. Whatever it's called. Amen, thank you. I think it was Hen something. So I have that to do. And I had been playing for like 4 hours at that point, because day off, yay. And aside from that, my week was pretty light because my hours at work are all messed up. So, Sans, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. I made it to internet for part of it. I did some more crafting on Anor to finish out the master tier for my explorer. So now I don't have to feel at all guilty for crafting supreme things, because I won't be losing the possible XP. And I made it to Aldburg on the field trip and helped out there. We had a little bit of a debate about where we were going to go from where we were standing in Edoras, but yeah, we went to Aldburg and we hunted boar and took care of some orcs, and yeah, it was fun. A little bit of reckless war steeding up to the mead hall. But that was also fun, especially when somebody accidentally followed me. So, yeah, and then I worked on assembling the Rangers with Terry and Pineleaf, and Bowfall did the instance, so it is not on my homework, and I'm glad I don't have to do it again this week. Pineleaf, how was your week?
I'll begin with Anor, where my ward reached a level 3, and I've completed the quest for Eregion. In fact, I think I've completed all of the Eriador quest lines that I know. All of the soloable Eriador quest lines, I think, are all complete now.
Nice.
Right. So that means I still have 2 more books to do in volume 1, and I believe next week's Bingo Boffin is going to be the last one that's set in Eregion. I believe the week after that is when they go into Moria. So things are coming out to a head here, where we should soon be heading out and going into Moria probably in a week and a half or 2 weeks from now. On Friday Night Fights on Landravol, we ran some Dol Guldur skirmishes. And on the most part, that went reasonably well, though we had mostly 120s, but we also had a 115 in the group. And of course, the 115 was a Runekeeper and our healer.
Oh. Squishy.
Yeah, squishy, I think. We ran these skirmishes at 118, but yeah, squishy was still the word.
Really, really squishy.
And the champion in our group was also very squishy, especially against tactical damage, because we ran into 2 of those frost grims.
Ouch.
Walls. Right. And when they whenever a frigid squall exploded, the Runekeeper died, of course, for being 3 levels under.
Right.
And the champion died every single time.
Weird.
Yeah.
Must not have tactical mitigations up.
Absolutely no tactical mitigations whatsoever.
Yeah, those are kind of important.
Yeah. So that's what happened on that matter. And oh yes, there is one more thing that I forgot to mention on my Anor character, is that I did get to Kindred with Council of the North. And because of that means the only 2 factions I have left for World Renown are the 2 that are in ended white. In other words, the 2 I can't start yet anyway.
Nice.
So it just had to... Hopefully then I'll be able to do it when... I'm not too sure when they're opening up. And right now my guess is they're going to open up ended white with Mirkwood, but that is, of course, a complete wild guess on the matter. They might decide to open it up with Rohan instead. I'm not with Rohan, I mean with Dunland instead.
Yeah.
We have to see which decision they make. Because it's level range wise, it goes more with Mirkwood. Story wise, it goes more with Isengard. That's for them to decide, obviously. They've got a few months before making that decision. And finally, I ran the first adventure in Journeys in Middle-earth, which is a game that you've seen a couple of articles at the site about that. It's a game by Fantasy Flight Games. You're going around adventuring in Middle-earth, trying to complete some objectives and trying to get it done before the shadow comes and really makes things impossible for you. So I just so far have done the first one. I thought it was an interesting adventure. Of course, you won't know really how the game operates until I've done a few more. So we'll see if I get any more time to do that in the next week. Let's then head into our news beyond LOTRO. And speaking of Journeys in Middle-earth, Fantasy Flight Games has announced the next of what their first DLC is going to be, which means their next adventure, and that's going to be the Hunt for the Ember Crown. They've announced that they are coming out with the Hunt for Ember Crown, but it is not yet available. They have not, as far as I know, announced a date for it yet. But I suspect it's going to be coming out probably around the same time as the Villains of Eriador figure pack that we mentioned last week. Which means we were likely to be running into some of the villains that we ran into this time if they do that, because the villains pack includes the main villains that you run into in the current campaign. And we also have a song by Darren Loremaster, The Flight of the Noldor, which is the song that is inspired by the words of Galadriel in Galadriel's song of Eldamir in LOTRO. And this is using the tune from Tasman Archer's Sleeping Satellite. Any comments on that?
It's pretty good, actually. I gave it a listen.
Then let's head into donations. We currently have 20 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious raid of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@LOTROplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. The Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, LOTRO Players @LOTROPlayers, Arendis @Arendis, Piney Needles, Sanswinda @Sanswindas, and Terry Adwin @Terry Adwin. The Players Alliance has 2 shows. On Thursdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. You can join us for our live shows at LOTROplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Planet Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.